The science of reading has completely changed how schools teach reading. States change laws, districts change curriculum, and schools doubled down on phonics. And much of that shift was built on one simple model. That model is called the simple view of reading. But what if that model that helped fix reading instruction is now leaving important things out? Today, researchers like Nell Duke and Kelly Cartwright are arguing that the simple view may no longer fully explain how reading works, and the model replacing it could reshape reading instruction again. Back in 1986, researchers Philip Goh and William Tunmer introduced a simple formula. Reading comprehension equals decoding times language comprehension. This meant that if a child could read the words and understand language, then reading comprehension should happen. And schools loved this model because it brought clarity to messy reading debates. If decoding was weak, teach decoding. If language comprehension was weak, strengthen oral language. It was simple and practical. But reading isn't always that clean. Think about a child who can decode every word on a page, but still struggles to understand what they read. Why? Maybe they lack the background knowledge. Maybe attention is weak. Maybe working memory breaks down. Or maybe they aren't monitoring meaning as they read. Researchers began realizing that reading comprehension depends heavily on executive functioning skills. In other words, comprehension isn't just decoding plus language. It's active coordination, it's strategic thinking, and motivation all working together. The simple view doesn't fully account for those in-between processes. And that became a major criticism because reading is more interactive than just two separate buckets. The science of reading absolutely helped fix weak phonics instruction, and that mattered. But some researchers now worry that schools became too focused on decoding that other important pieces got less attention. Those pieces are background knowledge, motivation, vocabulary depth, self-regulation. Some students became stronger decoders without becoming significantly stronger readers. And that's where a new model enters the conversation. In 2021, Nell Duke and Kelly Cartwright introduced the active view of reading. It keeps decoding and language comprehension, but it adds what the simple view largely left out. The idea is simple. Reading comprehension isn't passive, it's active. And that changes what teaching looks like. Yes, children still need explicit phonics instruction, but they also need teachers building background knowledge before reading a text. They need opportunities to stop and think, wait, does this make sense? They need help connecting ideas across chapters. They need vocabulary taught in context. They need discussion. They need to write about what they read. And they need books that actually make them want to keep reading. Because strong readers aren't just decoding words correctly, they're actively making meaning the entire time they read. And that's a much bigger picture of what reading instruction may need to become. And that's exactly why this conversation matters. Because this is not about replacing phonics. It's about making sure phonics isn't the only thing happening. And I think this is where people sometimes misunderstand what's happening in education. We tend to swing hard in one direction. For years, many schools undertaught decoding. The science of reading helped correct that, and that shift was necessary. But now, some researchers are asking, did we become so focused on fixing decoding that we started oversimplifying reading again? Because reading success isn't just, can you sound out this word? It's also, can you stay focused long enough to understand what you're reading? Can you connect ideas across the text? Can you stay motivated long enough to keep reading challenging materials? That's what real reading looks like, and it's what Nell Duke and Kelly Cartwright's active view of reading is trying to capture. And I think literacy education may be entering another major shift. One where schools continue teaching phonics, but also become much more intentional about building knowledge, vocabulary, comprehension, and engagement. Because reading isn't passive, it's active, and teaching it may need to evolve too. And if you want to better understand the foundation that led us here, watch my video on why schools moved away from balanced literacy next. I'll see you there.